Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and I hope y'all are having a great day today. So we're going to be wear testing a new powder. I'm really excited to try this. This is the new NARS Soft Matte Advanced Perfecting Powder. So this is a multi-purpose skin perfecting powder that blurs imperfection and smooths the look of skin, and it sets makeup for up to 24 hours. It has a matte finish and it offers a medium coverage. I picked mine up at Sephora. It costs $36 and it's available in 8 shades. This one is the shade Offshore and it's described as medium deep with a cool tone. So we're going to wear test this over liquid foundation. We're going to see how well it sets the foundation and if it gives us a soft matte look, and then we're going to wear test it to see how long it keeps the makeup nice and set before it needs to be refreshed. So I'm really excited to try this out, so let's jump right into it. Okay, so on the website they actually suggest that you pair this with the Soft Matte Complete Foundation, but we're going to be using the Light Reflecting Foundation instead, because I think if we go with a foundation that has more of like a radiant finish, not something that's matte on its own, we can really test like the mattifying capability of the powder on top of a foundation that's not a matte finish. So I'm going to go in with the Light Reflecting Foundation. This one is in the shade Caracas, and I forgot this foundation kind of squirts out, so I'm going to put it directly on my brush, and I'm just going to quickly apply my foundation. Okay, so my foundation is all blended out. When I was looking at the shade of this, I was thinking maybe it's going to be just a little too light for me, but this shade Caracas in the foundation is just like a little too dark, so I think we'll be okay. But I'm going to quickly put on some concealer and set that before we start with setting the foundation. Okay, so foundation and concealer are applied, and I put a little bit of powder on the under eye area, so that's the only area where I have powder. I'm just doing one final blend wherever my foundation and concealer are meeting each other. So now let's get into this powder. So again, this is what it looks like. I'm going to set just one side of the face so that we can do a side-by-side comparison. So I'm just picking up a little bit on this brush. I'm going to start out with just that amount, and let me pick up a little bit more. So I'm starting out with that amount, and then I'm just going to lightly press this into the skin, and it is instantly mattifying the skin. And it is like, it does look like it's smoothing and blurring things out. So I won't be able to tell you really like if you can build this up to a medium coverage on its own, because I am testing it out on top of a foundation, so that's giving me some coverage already. But it does instantly blur, it does instantly mattify, and it does look nice and smoothing. So let me know if you can see a difference from this side compared to this side with no powder on it, but it definitely looks nice and smooth, like a nice soft matte smooth finish. So looks good so far. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side of the face. There is like quite a bit of kickback with this, but I mean, it is a powder, so I think that's to be expected. Alright, so this is like one layer of the powder all over the face, and I think it looks really nice. Just for the sake of like further testing this out, I'm gonna put on another layer just to see if it like cakes up or anything. So let's just go on with one more layer. So the first thing I'm noticing with this second layer is that I feel like it does mattify even more. I'll show y'all in a second. I'm gonna do a side by side again. So if you look specifically like in this area here, but you can see it like all over this side of the face. To me, this side of the face that has the 2 layers of powder on it, it does look more matte and more smooth than over here. So I'm going to finish with the other side of the face. So again, I'm testing this out on top of liquid foundation, but I can tell the way that the second layer blended on top of the first layer. If you were to wear this powder on its own, because you can do that, it is going to build up. It does look like it's going to be able to build up to a medium coverage. You just want to use a brush that is more dense than this if you want to use just this without a liquid foundation, and I think you will be able to build it up to a medium coverage if you're doing it just on top of skincare and not a liquid foundation. So just for the sake of showing you all how this works with other products, I will go ahead and do my blush and bronzer on camera. I usually don't do that, so I'm going to quickly apply this color blush here. This is from an e.l.f. palette. It's just that the last complexion product that I reviewed, I was having some issues with getting my blush to apply nicely on top of the foundation, so that's why I'm going to show y'all on camera. So far so good with this. My blush is blending out just fine on top of this powder, and then I'm going to apply my Saie Beauty cream bronzer, and this seems to be applying on top of the powder just fine as well. Okay, I'm going to finish up my look off camera and I'll be right back and we'll start the wear test. Okay, so let's take one final look at the skin before we get into the wear test. So my first impression on this powder, I feel like maybe I have a new favorite setting powder, but I just put it on not too long ago, so we're definitely going to see how it wears. But I love the way that my makeup looks today. I think it looks really nice and flawless. It definitely has like a nice smooth velvety matte finish. And remember, we're wearing the powder on top of a more like radiant type of foundation, so it definitely did a good job at mattifying that type of finish. So I'm really impressed so far, but we're definitely going to do a wear test and see how long it lasts. So the description does say that it keeps the makeup set for up to 24 hours, which I mean up to 24 hours really could be anything, but I'm just gonna wear it until I feel like it's time to refresh the makeup, so we'll see how long that takes. So let's get started with the wear test. Let me know your first impression in the comments. So it's about 1:45 in the afternoon. I may or may not do a midway check-in depending on how long the entire wear test is. So we'll just see, you know, as the day goes along. So I will see y'all at some point later on today. Okay, so it's going on 7 o'clock in the evening. So I've had the powder on for about 5 hours now. And this is what my face is looking like. I think my face looks really, really good for 5 hours of wear. So right here on the sides of my nose, and I think you may or may not be able to tell that I'm just starting to get shiny on the sides of my nose, but I think you can tell like on the forehead. I think you can make out that I'm getting shiny. So typical for me because I have oily skin. I'm just now starting to get shiny in my T-zone area. So I think the fact that I have the powder on top of a foundation that's like a radiant type of finish, I think the powder held up really, really well. But I'm ending the wear test now after 5 hours because I'm just starting to get shiny. So I'm just going to, you know, continue to get shiny as the evening goes on. So the last thing that I want to show you all is how it looks if I were to go on top of this with yet another layer of powder. So that's going to be like the third layer of powder that we're putting on top of the liquid foundation. So I'm just going to pick up pretty much the same amount as I did earlier on the same brush, and I'm just going to add a light veil of it just in the T-zone area. And just like we did earlier, what we're looking for is we want to see if this third layer of powder, like, does it cake up at all, or does it lay really nicely on top of the 2 layers that we put on earlier. So as expected, the third layer is taking away a good amount of the shine, and it's laying very nicely on top of the makeup. So I'm really impressed. I really like this powder. I mean, I've only worn it for like 5 hours today, but I can tell that it's wearing really nicely. So the next time I try it, I feel like the next time I try this, I'm gonna pair it with the Makeup by Mario foundation and see how that is. But for those of you who like wearing a matte finish foundation, because it did recommend that you wear this on top of the NARS Soft Matte Foundation, it'll definitely just, you know, help to keep your skin mattified during the day. But the fact that, again, the fact that I wore it over a radiant foundation and it performed this well, I think think the powder did a really good job on my oily skin. So I would recommend this. I think y'all should try it out. And again, if you can use me as a reference, I am in the shade Offshore if you think you can use the same shade as me. So those are my final thoughts on this new powder foundation. I really like it. It's definitely going into my everyday rotation. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all back here for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.